Hey there! I'm doing a video response again to ScarletHare's one of her morning tarot. I'm going to go ahead and stick with the whole page and night theme. So I'm going to do a video response to her morning tarot for the page and Knight of Cups. Now I had two daughters in my last video that wanted to do it with me. My oldest one is still doing something else. She's busy. My middle one is all up in her cartoons this morning, so she didn't want to do it. But I've got my rooster, so she's going to do her Gilded Tarot with me. So I'm going to talk about my Paulina deck, and I'm also going to briefly touch on my 9-year-old's Deviant Moon deck, and I'm also going to talk about my, sorry about the light coming in and out, my 12-year-old's Steampunk Tarot deck. But first let me talk about my Paulina. I agree with a lot of what you said, obviously, about these two cards. And I see similarities between them. Obviously, I don't have the Rider-Waite, so mine look different. My Paulina Tarot, this is the Page of Cups here. And if you can see, there is still that same theme with the fish, although it's not on his head. It's wrapped around his body, which, I take to, for me, the fish represents, very simply, water. This is a very emotional character. There's water all around here at the bottom. The creativity and the inspiration that comes from this character can be seen in these little sprites that are kind of coming up out of the lotus flowers here. So that tells me this is, again, like you said, a dreamer, a young person full of that head in the clouds, maybe a romantic sort of point of view about life. The stars here, the starfish, or I guess you could say, indicate messages. So news of good tidings, news of new inspirations, new ideas. I'm sure the red boots have some sort of a significance. I always take the color red to mean sort of passion. So maybe there's that, flicker of passion, of romantic energy, of eagerness to experience something new and float away into something that makes you feel creative and alive. So this is the Page of Cups for the Paulina Tarot. Then we have I know I keep disappearing, my cards are down here on the deck. I have the Steampunk Tarot. This card doesn't have near the imagery in it that the Paulina Tarot has. It's much simpler. You still have the element of water all around. The page here seems to be kind of, almost like she's staring at the camera, like, bring it. This is kind of a more melancholy representation than what I have in my Paulina deck. It doesn't really have, to me personally, this is not my favorite Page of Cups just because there's so little here. I think that this character traditionally has a lot more to give than this card has. I see this here, this aircraft of sorts, I guess, passing by. I'm not sure yet what significance that has for me in regard to this card, other than, again, it may be that creative energy, that spark, that inspiration flying in the distance, maybe passing by, because this is a bit of a dreamer. So there's the steampunk version. And then last but not least is the Deviant Moon. The Deviant Moon Page of Cups. Now, I like this one a lot because this reminds me a lot of the traditional Rider-Waite representation. We have the fish hat, and we have this little cup. And I like this card a lot because of course I read in the book that came with it a little bit, but the page is kind of tickling this fish in a way, sort of thanking him for guiding him, because he does tend to wander. He doesn't always have the best sense of direction. And this fish here with this glowing light has helped to bring him, maybe bring him to shore, get his feet back on the ground. You can see the whale tail here in the background. I like that. I love this card. I think besides my own Paulina, this is probably my favorite.
I did notice that he's looking at somebody and he's like thinking that maybe they don't need any more help. And that's all I really want to say.
Think he's dreaming? You think he looks like he's stargazing?
Yeah.
She doesn't have water in her card.
Yeah.
No water, no fish. But she does have the cup, and she does have a boy kind of staring.
And you could actually tell that he's probably thinking of the sky.
Yeah.
Probably.
Maybe thinking about the stars. Maybe he's trying to figure out what they're telling him.
Yeah.
Okay, the second card is the Knight of Cups. I like my Knight of Cups. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Here's my Knight of Cups. This card is full of motion. It is full of activity. It's full of constant change. We have the waves down here, which of course always represent, you know, to me, waves. You can't get any more fluid and constantly changing than the waves of the ocean. So we have those here at the bottom. We have swans, which I know they have romantic implications. Swans are thought of as, you know, romantic birds, love. I also see them as a symbol of change because they do change considerably from when they are ducklings until they are beautiful swans. So these to me also signify a certain degree of change. And then we have his, he does not have wings on his feet, but he does have wings here on his cape. And I like what you said about him being a fickle, possibly a fickle lover, being more in love with the idea of love than of the actual mate. If you look closely right here, he's got some flowers on hand tied to his belt, just in case, you know, never know when you might meet someone that you want to give some flowers to. And then of course he has his cup here that is overflowing with hearts. You know, love just pouring forth. So this is a very high romantic energy. He's got the deer type fish, which, you know, signifies swift movement, you know, as well as the water element, the emotion. So I dig this card. I really like it a lot. The other one is, will you tuck those in for me? The other is again the steampunk, and once again this is a really simple version of the card. I do like this one a little more than the page though. She has sort of a, she does have kind of that look to her where she's always looking for something. She's looking for something. Whether or not she knows what it is the question here. But you do have that element of water again. Not as much, which could mean that, you know, compared to the page, maybe there's not quite as much raw emotion involved as there is maybe just the search for it. And then of course you have the walking stick here where you incorporate the horse, you know, which still kind of signifies that sense of movement, that sense of change that you see in the other ones. But she's not really moving fast like the others are. Deviant Moon, again, I really, tell you what, if I couldn't have Paulina Tarot, I think I'd steal my daughter's Deviant Moon Tarot. This is awesome. Awesome, awesome representation right here. The moon is full, which I found, oh, I keep picking the wrong side. Moon is full, which I find interesting. The other one here, it's not. We have the ocean, again, you know, a sense of the emotion, the movement, the always changing water. And then something that the artist, or the Barbara Moore points out, I mean, not Barbara Moore, I'm sorry. Who was it? Patrick, I'm sorry. Patrick Valenza. Something that Patrick Valenza points out here is his armor. His armor has gone from a lustrous, beautiful, shining armor, and it has changed to where it's been weathered. It's been weathered by the water, which means that, you know, the night may be fickle, and the night may go through, you know, lovers or conquests or events dramatically, but it does change him. It does affect him. He doesn't just fly around breaking hearts, and it doesn't affect him at all. It does change him slowly over time. So I get that out of this card. There is change. There is a sense of, you know, this one is probably not quite the romantic that the others are, but it does show that the change that is indicative of the Knight of Cups, I'm sorry, is something that does weather this character. And then the last one is the Gilded Tarot, and here we have her Knight of Cups.
All that I want to say about this is you could see there's like a little ribbon over there, and it's kind of windy in this card. So with the ribbons all wavy,
show that it's moving.
Mm-hmm.
And then what was the other thing that you found about this that reminded you of change? Do you remember you mentioned it?
Oh yeah. There's like some butterflies on. It's like some butterflies on the shirt. Could you see that there's some wings on there?
She said the pattern on his shirt looks kind of like butterfly wings.
2 butterflies.
So that kind of reminds her of change, because butterflies change.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
And there's like some it's kind of like on his shirt on the horse. On the horse.
At the bottom here?
Yeah. Because there's some decoration on the horse too. That's the same on the shirt, on his shirt. So that's all I want to say.
And that's all she has to say. So basically, in a nutshell, I agree with your assessment of the page and the knight. I do appreciate your videos. We had fun watching this together, and of course, I am a perspective junkie, so I love multiple perspectives, and I love looking at all the different tarot decks and kind of gleaning information from each one. I'm typically more crazy about the steampunk tarot when it comes to some of the other cards, but these particular two, they're not my favorite when I compare them to the others. I love my Paulina, of course. I'm in love with my Paulina tarot. But I have to say, I think the Deviant Moon, I love these two cards. So anyway, thanks again for a very inspiring video, ScarletHare, and I hope you are having a great day today. Blessed be.